Blessed, huh? Yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, thank you. My name is Nisha, and we're just out canvassing for Governor Desantis. And what we're doing, we're reminding the community that the caucus is coming up, and we want to know if your family support him or would they even caucus for him.
Well, we only support men who fear God for office, who would abolish the murder of children in the womb,
Okay.
who would outlaw sodomy, and would shut down drag queen story hours, would and would basically put forth law that honors God,
Right.
and when a lot of the laws that do not honor God. And hey, what was your name, by the way?
Nisha.
Nisha. Okay, I'm Nicholas.
It's nice to meet you.
Here's one, Nisha, and I'll just be honest with you. The never back down thing. He has backed down in Florida on baby murder. I know because I just spent time in Florida recently.
Okay.
Like this past year.
Okay.
I was actually arrested there back in April, while speaking up for our preborn neighbors in Lakeland, Florida. That's just outside Tampa.
Tampa.
And because Florida is full of baby murder mills, child sacrifice centers.
Right.
And people call them abortion mills, but they're child sacrifice centers.
Right.
And in fact, a street preaching friend of mine, he just moved from Mississippi down to Florida because that's where all the baby murder mills are.
Right.
And
Okay.
and Tampa alone is full of them. I think there were like 10 or more in Tampa
Wow.
by itself.
You're actually teaching me something that I didn't know.
Yeah, you need to know that. And
Yeah.
and I know that because I was down there for a while this past year, staying with friends and going to the baby murder mills, and I went with brethren to the pride parades to preach to the perverts there, and in fact, one of the biggest strongholds of homosexuality of sodomy is in St. Petersburg, Florida.
Wow.
And I had friends who nearly got killed down there preaching in the past year or two. And so Governor Desantis, from my understanding, he supported a 6-week ban in Florida as governor. And actually, former President Donald Trump said, that was going too far. That was going too far. And I'm like, no, it's not far enough. You need to abolish the murder of children, period. And until you do that, you're not doing your job.
Right.
Because the Constitution says, the 5th and 14th Amendment, that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So under Governor DeSantis' watch, he has violated the Constitution, not just in that way, but every governor has, because they have allowed children to be murdered on their watch in their state and their jurisdiction. And based on his inaction on regard to child sacrifice and sodomy in Florida, if he became president, baby murder will continue in America.
Okay.
And yes, it's true that Roe v. Wade was overturned a year and a half ago, but it's still legal to murder babies. Not constitutional, not according to God's law, but it's allowed, tolerated in every state, including Florida.
Okay.
And more than other states, that state is full of child sacrifice and sodomy. And so, if he really fears God, if he's not going to back down, or he says that, why is he allowing children to be slaughtered in his state? Why is he allowing sodomy to run rampant? And I'm not saying this to be in your face. I'm letting you know so you're aware.
That's why, listen. That's why I say you're actually telling me something that I didn't know.
And you need,
you need to know, and I appreciate that. So don't feel like you're rubbing it in my face or anything.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm
always open for information. I'm always open.
Because if I was, I have been in your shoes where, I've gone door to door before, for years past, for candidates who probably wouldn't abolish abortion.
Right.
And if I was going for today, there are Christians throughout America called abolitionists, call ourselves abolitionists, just go by the Bible, and we only will support candidates who will abolish abortion.
Okay.
And they don't sugarcoat it no, I'm pro-life and I'll go for regulation if that's all I can get. It's no, that's a coward.
Right.
Well, what we need to be is look up Luke chapter 18. The persistent widow. Okay. That's what most Christians are not like. That's what they're not like. That's what Governor DeSantis is not like, is the persistent widow. You may know the story.
Right.
She went before the wicked judge who said, I do not fear God and I do not respect man, but because this widow is annoying me, I'm going to grant her request, otherwise she's going to wear me down.
Right.
And so we need to be like the persistent widow. And most politicians are not. And like, in fact, one of the only candidates in America have supported, he just became senator in Oklahoma. And
Wow.
and he's a pastor. And Pastor Dusty Devers in Oklahoma.
Okay.
He just became senator, and he made no bones about it. I'm going to abolish abortion, including birth control pills. They're gone. I'm going to work to abolish them.
Right.
I'm going to work to abolish IVF, in vitro fertilization, which slaughters countless children.
True.
And so it, and looking at this briefly, actually, I think I read this. I read it from different. I read one or two other things from him, because I read what they consider important to them, and served America, stood up to Fauci and fought for common sense during COVID, cut taxes and spending, gutted bureaucracies and fired rogue prosecutors. Nothing about outlawing baby murder or sodomy.
Nothing on there.
I can't say I'm surprised. And I mean, it's not just him. It's Nikki Haley. It's Donald Trump. I mean, it's like, how can a Christian? I understand how they would justify it, but we gotta support those who fear God.
Right.
And
I agree.
Stop compromising, because the reason we get I'll just say, the reason we get fools in office is because Christians keep voting for them, and we don't think like that. We don't think it's a big deal that the fact that what God says about child sacrifice and sodomy and sin. When you read about how God treats these things in the Old Testament,
right?
God does not. He's not messing around. And
right. You're absolutely correct.
And I give this to Christians. Are you a Christian yourself?
I am.
Yeah. And there's a pamphlet in here on birth control, on the morning after pill.
Okay.
So people need to know that as well. So this basically goes into the difference between pro-life, the pro-life movement is doing in regulating baby murder, and what there's a movement of Christians around America who are working to abolish child sacrifice. And on the back of this, you'll see, for 50 years, Governor DeSantis, he was no different. Every single governor, including DeSantis, bowed down to Roe v. Wade, which was not law. And before it was overturned, for almost 50 years, every governor, including DeSantis, bowed down to Roe v. Wade, treating it as law, when it was not law, it's an opinion, because courts do not make law. And it's like, they basically, hey, are you doing okay? Okay.
Okay, and I have to go anyway, so.
But
I would definitely look into this book, and I thank you so much. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you. I wish I had more time to talk. I really do, because I'm all ears for it.
And just make sure that your full trust is in Jesus Christ alone.
Yes,
it's not by our works.
That's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming by.
All right.